Welcome to the very first WRAL Triangle and Two podcast. I'm your host, Mark Bergin, joined by my guy, Luis Fernandez. Luis, this is a reunion of sorts. We're talking, it's National Oreo Cookie Day. This analogy is going to be lost about a year from now. I couldn't find any lemon Oreo cookies at my local Harris Teeter, but we're recording this right on the eve of the ACC tournament. Luis, how are you this afternoon, my man?
I am doing great, Mark. It's funny. There were actually about 6 boxes of lemon Oreo cookies in the media section at the Dean Smith Center on Saturday. I don't know who brought them. I definitely snuck a couple. They were solid. It just tasted like any kind of lemon dessert. I get it. It would not be my favorite cookie, but I understand the hype.
Luis, let's get right into it. Duke UNC. Duke sweeps the season series in the 2022-23 season. I'm just going to say this right off the top. It didn't have the fanfare. It didn't have the luster of what this rivalry has had in previous seasons, let alone last season. You had Coach K's final season. You had multiple first-round picks for Duke, chiefly Paolo Banchero. Neither of these teams are ranked, but it was hard for me to muster the same amount of enthusiasm that I had last season compared to this year. What say you?
Well, I mean, yes, I think to an extent it's going to be hard to kind of top the level of enthusiasm surrounding those 3 matchups. I mean, how many times are UNC and Duke going to meet in the Final Four? I don't know. Probably, hopefully, never again. Personally, I kind of one of those situations that give you heart palpitations. Oh, hold on, I just had a Teams notification pop up. Let me close this window.
All good, Lewis. And I'll say this too. Last year, you had Caleb Love hitting the big jumper over Mark Williams in New Orleans and UNC knocking out Duke in the Final Four. So it wasn't just K. But if you're a UNC fan, you take last season over this season 9 times out of 10. But now the question to me leads, Lewis, is who's going to be coming back? Because short of winning the ACC tournament, we'll get to that in a little bit. I can't help but wonder, is Armando Bacot back? What about Caleb Love, RJ Davis? They have the option to come back to Chapel Hill if they so choose. But at a certain point, the NIL deal money is great and everything. And that's opened up a lot of opportunities for a lot of other college athletes. But at a certain point, it's just if you're NBA ready, you got to be able to go. UNC starts the season, preseason number 1. And now, right now, Lewis, short of winning the ACC tournament, they're going to be on the outside looking in. And it's we might be talking NIT with the Tar Heels. If you just said that at the start of the season, I mean, use whatever adjective you want to. It's crazy, absolutely out of your mind. I just can't believe it, Lewis.
The field expanded to 64 teams in 1984, and the preseason number 1 has never missed. That just says it all right there. I mean, what comes next? It's going to be big picture, kind of difficult to determine. Armando Bacot can technically come back. He said on Wednesday that, on Thursday, that he wasn't really sure what he was going to do yet. It was something he was going to think about once the season is over. Right now, the way things are set up, the UNC can't lose another game for the remainder of college basketball. The next game they lose, in my opinion, will be the last game they play. So they just got to roll with it and see what happens. RJ Davis, I think, will come back. Caleb Love, that's a big question mark. It's going to be really interesting. It would not surprise me if this roster looked a lot different. Transfers, all of that, going to be something very interesting to watch come this offseason.
Lewis, here's where I'm at. I think Bacot's gone to the league. Love, I think, is a bit of a coin flip. I think he ultimately goes. I'm with you there. I think Davis returns for another season. But I look at this, and it's 4 of your 5 starters are back, which everyone knows. The average age of this Tar Heels team of the starting lineup, 22.4 years old. Bacot was the overwhelming favorite as the ACC preseason player of the year. He's like a double-double machine, and it's just how in the heck is this team that started out preseason number 1, didn't expect them to keep the top spot all season long, but they're 1-9 against quadrant 1 games. They're 2-10 against teams currently projected to reach the field of 68. The sum doesn't equal its parts with this Tar Heels team, Lewis. And I'm sorry to add salt to the wound because I know you are a UNC grad.
I am. Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate the salt. No, I think it's so tough because last year you look at the run that they made and it was so much of making the right plays at the right times in those critical moments. And they just haven't been able to do that this year. You can just go back game after game after game, Duke twice, Syracuse, Alabama, Iowa State. It feels like almost every single game that was important to them, there was just a fumbling of it towards the end. And you have to be able to shoot the ball as well. I mean, shooting the percentages that they have from three, that is not going to do it for you in this modern NBA. It makes you really, or modern college basketball, it makes you really easy to defend. People know you get to double team Armando Bacot,
Mhm.
kind of push the ball on the outside, sag off of some of these 3-point shooters that aren't as consistent, and kind of live and die with those outside shots. And it's just, it really is, it's more complicated than that, but not being able to make open shots is one of the big
Mhm.
reasons why UNC is in this position right now.
It was evident on Saturday, Lewis, shooting just a tick above 30% from the floor, and it's just
Mm.
like, if you can't they always say at the NBA, it's a make or miss league, but that was the story on Saturday.